What if I told you the sun in our ancient skies was not the sun we know today? What if, long before recorded history, humanity lived under the light of a different celestial body? Not a star, but a giant golden planet, suspended motionless above Earth. This isn't science fiction. This is a theory rooted in ancient myth, strange alignments in the sky, and cosmic catastrophes. In this documentary, we'll dive into the mysterious idea that Saturn was once our sun. Let's explore what the ancients may have seen and what modern science has forgotten.
Chapter 1. The Polar Configuration, Saturn in the Ancient Sky. Imagine opening your eyes to a world unlike anything we know today. There was no sun rising in the east, no moon trailing across the sky, no stars twinkling in the distance. Instead, there's just one enormous golden orb suspended directly overhead. It doesn't move, it doesn't set, it simply hangs there, fixed in the heavens, casting a warm amber glow upon the earth. To the people of that forgotten age, this was not the sun we know. It was Saturn. Now pause for a moment and consider this isn't fantasy. This is what some researchers believe actually happened in Earth's distant past. The theory is called the polar configuration. According to this idea, Earth was once locked in a different kind of cosmic alignment, one where Saturn, Venus, and Mars were all stacked vertically above the North Pole, not orbiting like today, but standing still in a majestic celestial column. This wasn't just a pretty sight, it was the sky. Saturn, glowing like a giant lantern, Venus, a dazzling star just below it, Mars, a reddish sphere hanging at the base. Three worlds, perfectly aligned like beads on a divine necklace. To ancient humans, this formation would have been the center of everything: time, religion, and life itself. They saw shapes in the sky that would become the seeds of sacred symbols: the all-seeing eye, the cosmic tree, the axis mundi, the mythological pillar of the world, the winged disk of Mesopotamia and Egypt. Across continents, across cultures, the same symbols reappear in temples, in myths, in monuments. Why? Because, according to this theory, everyone was looking at the same sky. Imagine living under this light. It's soft, not blinding like today's sun. Days and nights are blended, the cycle of time completely different. The golden hue of Saturn bathes everything in a constant, dreamlike glow. This era is remembered in mythology as the Golden Age, a time of peace, prosperity, and divine presence. And Saturn was the god of that age: Kronos, Ra, El, and Lil, known by many names, but always depicted as the supreme ruler of the sky. But nothing lasts forever. A change was coming, a cosmic event so massive, so destructive, it would bring down the heavens themselves. And the sky, once calm and golden, would erupt into chaos. Chapter 2. Plasma Skies and the Electric Universe. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a sky alive with color. Not the blue we know, not the twinkling stars we're used to, but glowing curtains of light, spirals, halos, dancing patterns, like a living tapestry above your head. This is the world the ancients may have seen. And to understand it, we need to step outside the boundaries of mainstream science and into the realm of the electric universe. The electric universe theory proposes something bold: that the universe is not held together by gravity alone, but by vast, flowing currents of electricity traveling through plasma. Plasma, the fourth state of matter, is everywhere in the cosmos. It's what stars are made of, what powers auroras, and, according to this theory, it once filled the skies of Earth. Back then, Earth wasn't orbiting the sun the way it does today. It was inside a different system, one dominated by Saturn and connected to it electrically. Saturn wasn't just a planet, It was a plasma star, faintly glowing, not from nuclear fusion, but from electrical activity. A brown dwarf, perhaps, casting a steady amber light over Earth. Between Earth and Saturn flowed immense currents, creating luminous plasma structures in the sky. These formations weren't just pretty, they were unforgettable. Vast beams, radiating rings, twisting ropes of energy. Some looked like hourglasses, others like spirals, or like ladders climbing into the heavens. To ancient eyes, these glowing shapes weren't science, they were gods, or spirits, or cosmic serpents. But here's the twist, these shapes are not just imagination, we've recreated them in laboratories today. Physicists using high-voltage plasma experiments produce identical patterns, figures that match ancient petroglyphs carved into stone all over the world. Symbols like the squatter man, a human-like shape with arms and legs bent out, the stick figure with horns or rays, the tree of fire reaching upward. They weren't fantasy, they were memories, scratched into rock by terrified or amazed observers watching the sky writhe with energy. And then something changed. The once stable configuration began to falter. The glow dimmed, the plasma started to spark, arc, and lash out like the buildup before a lightning storm. A cosmic system, held together by balance, was becoming unstable. And when it broke, all that beautiful energy became violent. Giant bolts of electricity, perhaps thousands of kilometers long, might have erupted between planets. The sky that once inspired awe now inspired fear, and Earth was about to face a catastrophe of cosmic proportions. Chapter 3: The Fall of Saturn, a Cosmic Catastrophe. For untold ages, the sky was serene. The glowing presence of Saturn hovered over, constant and still, a golden eye watching over Earth. But no system, no matter how divine, remains unchanged forever. Something went wrong. No one knows for sure what triggered it. Was it the gravitational tug of a rogue planet passing by? A shift in the galactic current? Or a slow accumulation of instability in the celestial configuration? Whatever it was, the balance broke. And when it did, the sky didn't just change, it erupted. Saturn, once calm and radiant, became unstable. Its glowing plasma sheath, that protective halo of energy, began to collapse. And when plasma collapses under stress, it doesn't go quietly. Vast electrical discharges may have arced between the planets, massive bolts of cosmic lightning stretching from Saturn to Mars and even to Earth. These weren't the lightning storms we know today. These were titanic forces with energies beyond comprehension. Bolts so massive they could vaporize mountains, carve canyons, set entire skies on fire. To ancient humans, this would have looked like the heavens were at war. The great god in the sky, Saturn, began to flicker. Venus, glowing just below it, might have flared like a torch. Mars, once a calm red star, turned into a fiery, blood-soaked warrior. The cosmic pillar that once stood steady now churned, collapsed, and fragmented. The skies thundered, the earth quaked. Volcanoes erupted, oceans surged inland, ash blocked the sun. In ancient memory, this was the time of the Great Flood, of fire from the sky, of gods falling to earth. Cultures from every corner of the globe tell similar stories. The Babylonians spoke of Tiamat, a great celestial body torn apart. The Greeks remembered Kronos, Saturn, being overthrown by Zeus. The Norse told of Ragnarok, the end of the old world in fire and ice. In the Bible, the Great Deluge. Could these be distorted memories of a real cosmic catastrophe? And when the dust settled, the sky was never the same again. Saturn dimmed, its light faded, pushed to the outer solar system. Venus and Mars drifted away, no longer aligned. And on the eastern horizon, for the first time, a new light rose. Our modern sun. To ancient humans, this must have been terrifying. A new star, a new god, a new order. The old sky had died. A new sky had been born.
Chapter 4. The Scars on Planets. Evidence written in stone. Myth speaks in symbols, but stone never forgets. If the sky really shattered, if Saturn truly fell, then the evidence wouldn't just linger in story, it would be etched into the very surfaces of the planets. And it is. Let's begin with Mars. At first glance, it's just a dry, lifeless world, but look closer, and it tells a violent story. There, carved deep into its red surface, is Valles Marineris, the largest canyon in the entire solar system. But it doesn't behave like a canyon. Geologists assumed it was caused by tectonic stretching or erosion, but it's far too massive, too clean, and too sudden. Some scientists now argue it wasn't carved by water, but by something far more powerful: an electrical discharge. Imagine a massive arc of electricity, a cosmic lightning bolt leaping from one planet to another. The current scorches the surface, vaporizes rock, and leaves behind a plasma scar. In the lab, high-voltage experiments produced the same patterns. Not similar, identical. Now shift your eyes to Mars's surface craters. You'll notice something strange. Dozens of perfectly round craters with no impact debris, no meteor fragments, and no consistent entry angles. What caused them? Again, electric discharge fits the pattern. When plasma arcs touch a conductive surface, they create circular craters with sharp rims but no explosion residue. Even Mars's magnetic anomalies, isolated regions with weird, swirling magnetism, are consistent with electromagnetic trauma, not geological processes. But Mars isn't alone. Let's come home to Earth. Our world, too, bears the scars. Long crater chains with no impact sources, ancient glass formations called fulgurites, formed when lightning fuses sand, global magnetic reversals frozen into volcanic rock layers, entire mountain ranges aligned as if pushed not by slow tectonics, but by sudden force. What if these weren't natural quirks? What if they were the aftershocks of a broken sky? Even the moon shows signs. Craters that are shallow, not deep, like high-speed impacts should cause. Surface glass and strange fused minerals. And magnetic remnants that hint at violent interactions in the distant past. Here's the pattern. Planets acting like giant electrodes. Discharges like solar flares on steroids. Scars left behind across worlds. It's as if the solar system itself was once a battleground of cosmic energy. Mainstream science still debates these interpretations, but the marks are there. In red rock, in scorched soil, in magnetic memory. The scars don't lie. Chapter 5. The Symbols We Forgot. Memory carved in myth. Look around. The temples of Egypt, the ziggurats of Babylon, the pyramids of Mesoamerica. Different lands, different cultures, different gods, and yet the same symbols. Why? Why does the Eye of Horus resemble the Eye of Providence? Why does the cosmic tree appear in Hindu, Norse, and Mayan myth? Why do wings surround discs, serpents coil around staffs, and halos crown heads in nearly every ancient art? Because maybe, just maybe, these were not symbols at all. They were memories. Let's return to the ancient sky. In the polar configuration,
Earth was said to lie beneath Saturn, with Venus and Mars stacked in alignment above the North Pole, fixed in the heavens. To ancient eyes, this would appear as a bright central orb, surrounded by glowing rings, plasma filaments, and luminous halos. A column of light, a swirling eye, a radiant disk with wings, a stairway to heaven. We call them metaphors. They may have been observations. Think of the winged disk, a common image in Egyptian, Sumerian, and Assyrian cultures. A glowing circle with outstretched wings. It's not just religious art, it's a possible depiction of Saturn with glowing plasma arms swirling out like wings, discharging light into space. The Eye of Ra? It wasn't imagination, it may have been Venus glowing directly above Saturn, emitting plumes or jets of light due to plasma interactions, giving the illusion of an eye in the sky. The serpent around the tree, found in both Mesopotamian and biblical stories, it may be Venus or Mars spiraling around the cosmic axis, a visual memory of a plasma filament winding around a luminous celestial pole. These images are not confined to one region. The Hopi of North America speak of a red star that once ruled the sky. The Dogon of Africa preserve myths of a bright cosmic pillar. The Norse speak of Yggdrasil, the world tree, a glowing trunk reaching into the heavens. In Hindu tradition, the chakra, a spinning wheel of energy, matches the concept of rotational plasma forms in the sky. Are these cultural coincidences, or are they fragments of a shared, ancient sky? Now look at the monuments. The Great Pyramids align with stars, but also point to a fixed celestial position above the pole. Obelisks stretch upward towards where the first light once stood. Stonehenge, Teotihuacan, Göbekli Tepe, all carry celestial alignments and carved figures that match plasma forms seen in laboratory simulations. They weren't just tombs. They weren't just temples. They were calendars, memorials, and messages, built to honor the sky, or perhaps to remember it. Even today, the echoes remain. The medical caduceus, two serpents winding around a staff, may mirror the plasma discharge forms once seen in the heavens. The cross, the halo, the mandala, recurring shapes in religions, art, and architecture, may all originate from that ancient sky. Symbols that became sacred because they once lit the sky. We forgot what they meant, but we never stopped repeating them. In logos, in crests, in dreams. They've survived the fall of Saturn and the rise of our modern world. Chapter 6, The Timeline, from the Golden Age to the present. Close your eyes and imagine a time when the heavens never changed. A time when Saturn, not the sun, stood motionless in the sky. A time of day and night were one, bathed in a golden glow. This was the Golden Age. In myths from Greece, Mesopotamia, India, and Mesoamerica, there are whispers of this forgotten time, an age of peace, of harmony, and of gods who walked among men. In Greek mythology, Kronos ruled the Golden Age, a time before suffering and toil. Kronos is Saturn, the same Saturn. The Romans preserved it too. They celebrated the Saturnalia, a week of reversed roles, peace, and equality in memory of a better world. But what ended it? The sky changed. Something disrupted the cosmic alignment. Maybe it was a shift in Earth's orbit. Maybe the solar system rearranged itself, or perhaps Saturn lost its energy source and began to dim. Whatever happened, it wasn't quiet. The myths tell us everything fell apart. In Babylon, Marduk slays Tiamat, the cosmic serpent of chaos. In Egypt, Set murders Osiris, and the sky turns dark. In Norse myth, Ragnarok brings fire, darkness, and stars falling from heaven. In the Bible, the flood drowns the earth, and the rainbow marks a new covenant. These aren't just stories. They're memories of a real catastrophic shift. Let's trace the timeline, piece by piece. The age of Saturn. Earth lies beneath Saturn's glow. The polar configuration is stable. Venus and Mars hover above, forming the cosmic column. Humanity thrives under consistent light, the mythic Golden Age. The chaos event. Saturn's plasma sheath collapses. Violent electric discharges scar planets. Mars moves erratically, perhaps even approaching Earth. Earth tilts, shakes, possibly altering its orbit.
Chapter 7. Myth versus Modernity. We live in an age of science, of satellites, telescopes, and simulations. We can look deep into space, billions of light years away. We can send probes to the outer planets. We can even simulate the birth of galaxies on supercomputers. And yet, we may have forgotten the most important sky of all, the one right above our ancient ancestors. Ask a scientist today, was Saturn ever close to Earth? They'll laugh. Impossible, they'll say. Saturn has always been where it is, far away, cold, distant, unchanging. But the ancients tell a different story. Every culture, every civilization speaks of gods in the sky, of cosmic battles, of floods and fire, of light that once stood still. They weren't talking about stars billions of miles away. They were describing what they saw with their own eyes. They didn't need telescopes, because the sky came to them. Mainstream science tells us myths are just stories, metaphors, allegories, symbolic tales for primitive minds. But what if they're not? What if mythology is ancient science encoded in poetry? What if petroglyphs, symbols, and rituals were humanity's way of recording astronomical events before writing, before mathematics, before time itself? Let's step back. Look at the evidence, not the assumptions. Plasma physics shows us how electric forces shape space. Lab experiments recreate ancient sky shapes. Planetary scars mirror electric discharges, not just impacts. Myths from around the world tell the same cosmic story in different tongues. This isn't coincidence, it's consistency. The electric universe model, the polar configuration, these are not mere pseudoscience. They are attempts to explain ancient records that don't fit our current model. We dismiss them not because they lack data, but because they challenge everything we've built our model on. But science must be curious, humble, open. Maybe it's time we asked, have we misunderstood the sky? Because if the ancients were right, if Saturn once ruled our sky, then history and science must be rewritten. We must merge ancient memory with modern insight. We must treat myth as observation. We must remember the forgotten sky. So tonight, when you look up, know that you are not just seeing stars. You are looking at a sky that was once different, a sky ruled by Saturn, a sky filled with electric fire, a sky remembered by myth and lost to time.